Daniel here, and I'm in Ottumwa, Iowa at the Ottumwa Cemetery, and I'm going to tell you about the 34th governor of Iowa, Herschel Loveless. I got my nephew in the back, so wave at everyone, Braden. All right, Herschel Loveless was born on May 5th, 1911 in Hedrick, Iowa. He graduated from Ottumwa High School, and after high school graduation, he went to go work for the railroads. The railroads were really important during this time period, and many successful men during this time period worked for the railroads. A lot of Iowa cities and towns were developed around the railroads, and this was the major form of commerce and trade in the time period. So it was the path that a lot of successful people took during this time period. After he working for the railroads, he moved back to Ottumwa and he became the superintendent of Ottumwa streets. This was instrumental in his understanding of the streets and layout of the city of Ottumwa, and also its flooding problem. Ottumwa straddles the north and the south banks of the Des Moines River, and flooding is a problem, and it's been a problem in Ottumwa since the early days in 1844. He ran for mayor of Ottumwa and became mayor from 1949 to 1953, where he again pushed really heavily for better infrastructure, and he lobbied the state government for money for better roads and to help prevent flooding along the Des Moines River. In 1952, he became a delegate from Iowa to the Democratic National Convention, and he ran unsuccessfully for the Iowa 4th Congressional District as a Democrat. He then, for the fourth time since the Civil War, he won the governorship in 1956 from Governor Beardsley. But one of his biggest campaign promises was to repeal Beardsley's income tax hike. At this time, he claimed that Iowa's income taxes were some of the highest in the nation, to where $1 in every 10 dollars in an Iowan's paycheck was paid to taxes, and that was detrimental economically to everyone in the state of Iowa. And he wanted to improve the people's lives of Iowa, so he wanted to repeal that income tax. And the first thing he did as a Democratic governor was to repeal a tax, and that continuation has led to Iowa being one of the lowest taxed states in the country. After being governor, he for the first term, he ran for a second term and won re-election in 1958. And in 1961, after leaving the governor's office, he was appointed by John F. Kennedy to the Federal Renegotiation Board, which dealt with renegotiating military contracts. He held that post until 1969, when he resigned it and became the vice president of governmental affairs by Chromalloy soft drinks manufacturers out of Ottumwa, and he held that post until 1978, when he retired to Winchester, Virginia. His legacy has been really, he was the Democratic version of Governor Ray here in Iowa, rebuilding the party, giving it a better organization skills, which had really been lacking. He led the way for his successor, Governor Hughes, to eventually become a U.S. Senator from Iowa, and then later Clark, and then John Culver, and then eventually even Tom Harkin. In the governor's office, again, like I said, his immediate successor, Governor Hughes, succeeded him, and when he became senator, his lieutenant became governor for 15 days in 1969, which was John Fulton, before Governor Ray was able to be inaugurated in early January of 69. And then it wasn't until 1998 that another Democratic governor hold the post of governor with Tom Vilsack, and then with Chet Culver, who was John Culver's son. So there's only been 8 Democratic governors in the state of Iowa since the Civil War, and the rebirth of the Democratic Party really for Iowa starts with Governor Loveless here. He died on May 4th, the day before his 78th birthday, in Winchester, Virginia, in 1989, where he was brought back and interred here in Ottumwa. His wife, Amelia, joined him in October of 2006, where they lie together in peace. A couple of his legacy points, one of his favorite quotes while he was governor was, "I don't care what kind of car I drive, Cadillacs are for Republicans," and this was in reference to the state legislature wanting to purchase a new car for the governor to drive around. At this time, like today, the governor of Iowa is very, very mobile, In fact, the governor of Iowa is probably the busiest governor out of all 50 governors in all the states. And he said, I'm just fine driving my predecessor's old Oldsmobile, which was purchased for 1 penny under the $2,000 cap at the time. He said later on that, let's just buy another vehicle like the Fords or the Plymouths or the Dodges that our state patrol uses. There's no reason to buy a fancier car than what the state already purchases for its state patrol. He was also really big in promoting unions. So a lot of the unions here in Iowa owe Governor Herschel Loveless a lot for them to really become a source of political power here in Iowa. It was also really big on redistributing the representation here in Iowa, equalizing rural and urbanization as far as representation was concerned at the state legislature. He was really big on that. After his time in politics, he didn't really get all that active here locally nor in Virginia. He kind of led to his private life, but he has led to mental health. For example, and when he was governor after World War II, he really wanted to push for mental health services because, mental health for like soldiers from World War I and World War II, unlike today, weren't really made a priority. They weren't really made an issue. People never really thought of anything about mental health. And so he was instrumental in creating mental health services here in the state of Iowa. And so as closing, I'm going to come down so you can get a closer look at his gravesite. You see, it has the symbol for the Great Seal of Iowa for being the governor from 1957 to 1961, and he was the mayor of Ottumwa from 1949 to 1953. So, like I said, this is a continuation of my Governors of Iowa tour, and I want to thank my nephew Braden for being part of this video. Hopefully, he'll come and join me for future ones. But we're going to keep working on this. There's several more governors to go, and there's more things in Wapello County I want to show you. So Iowa, I want you to stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay wise, and as always, stay classy. Thank you for your time.